It was the company that was once written off for dead due to a very improper journey, where at one point it was immortal and then it was a global force. But originally it was not that. It was under NWA. But no matter how you always looked at it, professional wrestling mattered and it always was at the forefront, total nonstop action. And truly, we once again return to that era, recreated new. Welcome, everybody, to the first predicting of 2024 as we simply look towards the new era and the return of TNA that has truly defined itself to be hard to kill. Hello, everybody, and Happy New Year to all of you, and welcome to 2024 Simply Predicting TNA Division. As, of course, TNA once again returns back into our lives tomorrow night under new era. And you know what this is, for I'm the simple man of the simple brand and the voice of JMM, forever grateful for professional wrestling. Damn it. And my name is Noel Foster. With me, as always, are my friends in predictions. Shout out to the entire City Predicting family. I'm looking forward towards what we discuss throughout the year here in 2024 as TNA kicks us off. As always, it's a pleasure welcoming the man, one of my fellow horsemen of predictions that predicts all things wrestling practically with me, Christopher Rods, and the Renegade of Wrestling, my color analyst in all things WWE, his NXT. Damn it, better than what it used to be. But also a longtime friend and fan of TNA. Go check out the Death Knowledge on Wrestling, the top 10 folks. Great job, by the way. JJ Williams. Gentlemen, Happy New Year to both. It's good to see you once again as the wrestling industry finally starts picking up pace domestically here, with TNA kicking things off and setting things, with Hard to Kill come tomorrow. So before we get into everything, first off, shout out in the chat. Please subscribe, comment, tell a friend. And if you want to dictate the conversation, donate to Dictate Casting Studios. Super chat, simple as that. And please, no spoilers for SmackDown. You will be banned. You've been warned. Chris, good to see you. Hope everything's going well with your family so far 2024. How you feeling about the return of TNA since you got your initial dose in the Impact Wrestling last year?
Well, it's going to be a fun and entertaining show tomorrow. I'm looking forward to TNA Hard to Kill tomorrow. I'm giving this show I'm going to say 8 out of 10 for the my rating tomorrow on the show. TNA, thank God, is back. This is the first TNA premium live event since they're going to be calling their pay-per-views PLE now. So it should be a good, fun, and entertaining show. I want to wish everybody the best of luck throughout this year in the TNA Predictions League. And always say yeah to NoDQ.com.
Yeah, appreciate that, Chris. Always appreciate it. It's good to have you back. And of course, a man that's always happy to be seen, always a great fan of now sports entertainment and professional wrestling. Do I need to say anything else with what's in the background? The Renegade of Wrestling, JJ Williams. JJ, we finally have arrived. TNA is back and once again breathes new life. How you feel about this pay-per-view tomorrow? It's good to see you.
Well, it is good to be seen, as I always like to say. It's good to be back here, simply predicting first one of 2024. And what a doozy to be getting into for the very first TNA pay-per-view. First, simply predicting all around. I mean, when 2023 started last year, I don't think anybody predicted that come the year's end, TNA wrestling would be back.
No.
So when that announcement was made, it totally lit the wrestling world, on fire. It totally caught everybody off guard, and I feel like TNA, those letters invoke good memories now. I feel like we've gotten far enough away from the brother era that we don't shudder when we hear those letters anymore.
Right.
We think back fondly. We think about the birth of the X Division. We think about guys like AJ Styles, Frankie Kazarian, Triple X, AMW, Low Key. We think about the birth of the Knockouts division with Gail Kim and Angelina Love and Awesome Kong. We think back positively, and I'm looking forward to seeing what tomorrow brings. I completely expect a hard reset, a control alt delete, if you will. I'm not saying every title is going to change hands and move to somebody new, but I definitely think that certain pieces of the puzzle are going to be altered and shuffled around so that TNA is going to be presented in the best possible light. Plus, with
Absolutely.
rumors of contracts ending towards the end of the month for certain bloodline members and a possible return to their former stomping grounds, should play very interesting into at least one, if not some of our other matches. Plus, we've got people from my NXT making a debut in your TNA as the grizzled young vets
Damn it.
are going to make their impact felt. And I'm looking forward to seeing what the grizzled young vets bring that the dyad didn't bring.
Well said. I love the fact that you talked about the genesis of what was TNA, and you figure about what has evolved since then. When you figure about what we went through with Impact Wrestling, with the likes of Brooke Texmacher, Terrence Terrell, Jeff Hardy, the It Factor, Bobby Roode, of course, who was the reigning TNA Heavyweight Champion for one of the longest period of times, the Destroyer, the Lashley, Drew Galloway, and again, you talk about X Division, Cameron Grimes, of course, the former Trevor Lee, of course, the great Sonata. Again, you figure about everybody that has gone through this company in some capacity. This company has been the center of the professional wrestling industry, bar none, even in its worst presentation. And they've had a lot of stutter steps. Hello, EC3 and Rockstar Spud. That was unique in its own right. And Joseph Park. But without further ado, again, I am so damn excited for this show. And to Daniel's point, new era, new championships. TNA is back, and they're going to be in fine style with the prizes on the line. As all the prizes will be on the line, and we will see who takes the keys, who leads the way into the new era for TNA. So, for those that want to tune into TNA, it goes like this: become a member of TNA Plus today through TNAWrestling.com, and you can catch what we're going to first talk about here on the countdown exclusively for members of TNA Plus. And then you can catch the Hard to Kill pay-per-view covered by me and Jeff Mother effing Beecham live throughout the whole night. As of course, you could buy the pay-per-view yourself through Fight TV or through TNA Wrestling Plus membership, or also through their YouTube channel, now christened TNA Wrestling. And speaking of which, say his name and he appears. Not a chair part of the check it in. Cannot wait for tomorrow's double dose of the medicine that is entertaining pro wrestling and the shenanigans of Open Mic Night anniversary special. And yes, all the plugs, all the shells. We'll certainly talk about those more in the end. And Jeff, I cannot wait to be part of this reintroduction to TNA with you tomorrow night, my friend. But without further ado, gentlemen and chat, and yes, the former course will be live following this video once it concludes. I will tell more about that at the end. Let's get right into it. So, TNA Hard to Kill, the first stop in the rebirth of TNA, officially tomorrow night, 1 year to the day of last year's Hard to Kill pay-per-view under Impact Wrestling, January 13th. And we got a doozy of a pre-show, a zero if you want to call it, with the countdown. And it starts with this, and for once, it's not anywhere in Atlanta. From center stage to the Palms in Las Vegas, place your bets, go double or nothing if you choose. It is once again Rich Swann versus Steve Maclin in a traditional one-on-one match. Again, everybody at this show is going to be setting a pace and a precipice for their TNA career. Originals and impactful hopefuls that are going to TNA for the first time ever. Of course, Rich Swann and Steve Maclin were defined in Impact Wrestling. Rich Swann, a former Impact World Champion, Steve Maclin, former Impact World Champion. And again, 1 year ago, these two fought each other all over Atlanta, and Steve Maclin won. So that being said, and we will talk more about Steve Maclin's significant other later, folks. JJ, let's start with you on this one. We look at Steve Macklin, who's all about tagging and bagging targets, but Rich Swan's all about can you handle this? Both these men right now, it's literally a reset for them. Who do you think needs this? Let's call it what it is, singles exhibition win. And actually, it's the first singles match in TNA's rebirth. So who sets the pace?
I think Macklin is going to set the pace here. No disrespect to Rich Swan, and you know when I make some of these jokes that it's just pure love because I don't watch Impact Wrestling, now rebranded TNA Wrestling. Rich Swan looks like you ordered Swerve Strickland off of Wish.com.
Damn.
I'm just saying, calling it like it is. I'm going to give this win to Steve Macklin. You know, I believe his significant other is going to reign in her debut tomorrow as well. And again, like you said, we'll touch more on her down the road a piece. But
Yes, of course.
I have a feeling that the happy couple are both going to get W's on the same night.
All right, fair enough. Before I move on, Chris, do you have an opposing thought to this one-on-one match here? Rich Swann and Steve Macklin. Of course, again, you are now just learning about TNA through the historian here and through the young gun here. So, but you followed Impact Wrestling the entirety of last year. So, do you have any thoughts towards the singles?
Well, I think it should be a good opener tomorrow. Yeah, I'm going to have to go with Steve Macklin for the win tomorrow. I feel he's going to set the pace for 2024 in TNA, and hopefully he could get championship gold here in 2024.
All right. Well, speaking of championship gold, Chris, I'm sure everybody, no matter what company you're in, have golden aspirations, especially for the brand new TNA Tag Team Championships folks in the bottom left-hand corner. So, Chris, you're going to talk about this one after I give you a bit of background on this Tag Team Wrestling affair. Because you have TNA Originals versus Impact Hopefuls. The ride or die duo, Eddie Edwards with Felicia Edwards. Eddie Edwards, of course, a former Impact Tag Team Champion, Impact World Champion, against most professional wrestler, Brian Myers, former WWE Tag Team Champion, alongside Matt Cardona. Eddie Edwards and Brian Myers, their second outing as a tag team after their loss at Final Resolution against the current TNA Tag Team Champions, the ABC, Ace Austin and Chris Bay. But they take on two TNA Originals that are all about the World Gold and the Tag Gold and are tag team specialists in their own right. We, of course, are talking about the world-class maniac Eric Young, and you guessed it, 1/3 of SCU and one of the true OGs of the original TNA, older than Eric Young, if that tells you anything. Frankie Kazarian got both his names this time. So, Chris, looking at both these teams and thinking about both these duos' approaches towards the tag team championships, you gotta consider the X Factor also being Alicia Edwards, also no stranger to Frank Kazarian after the wars we saw with Eddie Edwards, Frank Kazarian. Who you got in this tag team contest?
Well, it's going to be a fun, entertaining tag match, to say the least. I just have a gut feeling Alicia Edwards is going to get thrown out of this match. Just calling it out right now. She's going to get thrown out of the match. And then that's when the real tag team match will begin. It should be a fun, entertaining match. I got Eric Young and Frankie Kazarian gain this win tomorrow.
All right. JJ, we saw Eric Young and Josh Alexander try the tag team thing for a little bit last year during the tail end of Impact Wrestling, particularly at a Turning Point. A couple stutter steps, but it looked like there could have been a very strong unit. You would have thought that Team Canada was going to be recreated. After all, Eric Young came back from the dead, tattled on side Scott D'Amore, and won a tag team match at last year's Slammiversary. I know, JJ, I have to say it. But your boy, Frank Kazarian, he came back and officially signed long-term to be part of the new legacy of TNA. Of TNA, of course. Last year at Hard to Kill. And of course, Frank Kazarian's ultimate goal, he wants the world title. But maybe the tag title is a good first start into the new era of TNA. So what do you think about this tag match? Who you got?
Well, I'm definitely going with the originals here. Again, I feel like they're going to try to pay homage to the original version of TNA while also trying to guide the ship to direct where the future is going to take this new incarnation. You've got to keep in mind, Alicia Edwards is in that Women's Ultimate X match later on in the night.
That's
I
correct.
don't think she can be out there for too long without running the risk of potentially getting taken out by Kazarian or possibly Tracy Brooks or Eric Young or somebody else, who's to say that Eric Young may not have one of his old running buddies come and help him because didn't he run with the ODB?
Oh gosh. Yes.
I
And
mean,
the
there's another big callback there. If Alicia Edwards starts getting too involved, have ODB come out there.
oh
I'm,
Lord.
I'm just saying, like, you got to figure TNA is going to pull out all the stops for their first pay-per-view back. And whether it's the Hall of Famer Tracy Brooks, whether it's ODB, look for somebody to come out there and read Alicia Edwards' The Riot Act, making it a fair fight, allowing the originals to get the victory here.
What I wouldn't give to see Tara back and Widow's Peak, Alicia. Okay, fair enough. And so far, I agree with both of you on both the matches so far. But of course, you guys know how this works. I may write down what y'all see on video, but of course, your picks aren't final until they're finalized on the forum because I know we might change our minds. So that being
Well, I'm
said,
letting you know right now, bro, that tomorrow morning when I wake up, I'm going to be in chaos mode until I do my portion of the watch along.
fair
So
enough.
my predictions are final. So
Oh, all right. Put me on the spot there. Fair enough, bro.
I'm just letting you know.
I appreciate that because I only can keep up with so much. Because again, shout out to everybody that participated last year and to last year's winner, Joshi. I'm curious to see if he becomes part of the TNA League and holds his crown again. So we'll see. Of course, I will probably talk more about that later. All right, well, let's go ahead and move on right through what I think will be the last match of the 0 hour. And since I know that TNA Plus Countdown to Hard to Kill will probably be on all digital fronts, why not close things out with the Digital Media Championship with these two crazy extreme yahoos? And yes, it's not no DQ. Say yeah to no DQ though, but say yeah to the fact that it's no disqualification. With a man from ECW, I kid you not, Tommy Dreamer, our current Digital Media Champion, once again going one-on-one with Crazy Steve. And this, of course, is months in culminating after Crazy Steve literally stabbed his former friend in the back with a fork. I kid you not. And then Tommy Dreamer, he returned literally trying to carve the face of Crazy Steve, who is legally blind, by the way. This is a run back from the match from November 9th, 2023 that ended in disqualification with Crazy Steve winning. But as we know, titles cannot change hands via disqualification or countout. Well, here, anything goes. So prepare to get crazy, prepare to get extreme, prepare to get hardcore, if you know what I mean. JJ, your thoughts on this? First off, how weird is it to see Tommy Dreamer as a champion in 2024? Secondly, Crazy Steve has yet to hold any gold since being part of Back Wrestling when he first arrived at Decay. Of course, Rosemary and Abyss, all the way back in 2017, six-sided ring days. Do you think that Crazy Steve beats Tommy Dreamer here for this title, or does Tommy Dreamer finally put Crazy Steve in his past once for all, like he did with Bully Ray last year at Rebellion, that hardcore war? What's your take on this menagerie of chaos that's about to unfold?
Well, let me answer the easier question first. Did I ever think I would see Tommy Dreamer as a champion in 2024? No.
Okay.
Plain and simple. I love Tommy. I have been a fan of Tommy since I first saw original ECW on the Nashville network, before it was the national network, before it was Spike TV. Okay. I've been a fan of Tommy for years. The heart and soul of Extreme. But he said it himself, at least when it came to ECW, he was the guy that was never supposed to be champion.
Right.
So to see him in a company that he's given his heart to. You know, probably probably his second love since ECW, if we're being really honest, because WWE I feel was like a layover for him.
That
It
is
was a
fair.
means to an end because there were no other companies at the time. But you think about that speech he gave to Dixie when him and some of the other ECW originals rebranded Hard Justice to Hardcore Justice because they didn't want the WWECW to be the way the ECW name died. And he's pretty much been with the company ever since, as far as I know.
Yep.
So this is like, finding that second love that you love just as much, if not more, than your first love. I see Crazy Steve taking this one, though. I feel this being part of what I was talking about and alluding to as far as shaping the future and kind of guiding the future where they want to go. TNA doesn't need Tommy Dreamer as its champion. TNA doesn't need some of these longer tenured guys, these older, for lack of a better term, fossils. And I'm not trying to be mean, but how odd was it seeing Ric Flair as the Intercontinental Champion? Thank you.
Yeah.
We don't need those anymore. TNA is in a rebirth period. We don't need 20-year vets, people that have been with the company for 15 years, whatever, as the champions. We need to mold the future, shape the future, guide the future. And as weird as it may sound, or excuse me, as crazy as it may sound, I feel like Crazy Steve is going to be the one to take the digital media to where they need it to go. Especially if, as you say, he's legally blind. Think about the media for that right there, the digital media behind a legally blind wrestler who's a champion.
Yeah, that's fair. For the longest time, people thought that Crazy Steve should have been X Division champion. He came super close when he faced Trey Miguel for that title in the first ever Monsters Ball X Division title match on Impact TV. And Crazy Steve's always been that constant group player, but now he literally walks alone. Decay is no more since, the Death Dolls are their own thing. And literally, Black Taurus has been wrestling El Hijo de Vikingo for the AAA Mega Championship in and out of AEW. So it's one of those things where I look at Crazy Steve and I'm like, this could be his first accolade in his career. And it'd be very unique to see what he would do in that capacity. And Tommy Dreamer, he put it on the line, all right? It was like his last chance for a title. He put his career on the line. He beat Kenny King last year at Victory Road, of course, for this championship. So I think it'd just be a nice bow on Tommy Dreamer's career to endorse somebody that's endured those type of hardships, mentally and physically, a different way, like he has, because we all know how emotionally driven Tommy Dreamer is when it comes to this business and the pain that he's endured physically. But of course, those scars doesn't define his legacy. They just tell a lot more about his history. I mean, again, the guy works still for Busted Open with Bully Ray and Dave LaGreca. I'm just saying. So I think it would be nice to see him more in a coaching role or more of a backstage mentorship role. I don't think he necessarily needs to be a front person part of the TNA roster as a champion. I actually agree with you. I think that this will be a start of maybe a trend to follow during the show. Because again, TNA and Impact, they are not very predictable. I think this is the first time to change hands. I think we do get a new digital media champion. I think Crazy Steve gets it. Chris, you got anything to add regarding this match or this title?
Well, it should be a fun, entertaining, no disqualification match for this digital media championship. And personally, I did not know that Crazy Steve is legally blind. I did not know that at all. But hey, learn something new every single day is a good thing. But with far as this match, it should be a fun match. Yeah, I agree with you guys. I think Tommy Dreamer doesn't need this championship. For TNA, since this is TNA's first time being back, you need to put it on the future and these young talent. So hopefully TNA don't mess this up. So I'm going with Crazy Steve to become the new Digital Media Championship come tomorrow night.
All right, then. Well, that being said, we got through the countdown, so let's go ahead and dive right into the show. Now, for those that watch TNA Impact Wrestling as long as I have to a degree, in fact, I went to go see Slammiversary 2021 live, and I saw the very structure set up in the beginning. I think it's only fitting that they start with that because I got to take the dang thing down afterwards because I'm pretty sure this set is not going to have it stay up all night. To my knowledge, I can't think of an episode or a pay-per-view that had the dang thing stay up all night. And JJ, you can fact check me on that. And Jeff, if you're still available, I did fact check me on that. But you also know how much of an advocate I am of women's professional wrestling when it comes to presentation, representation, and the quality and quantity of your consistent booking. Damn it! But I digress.
No, you don't.
You're damn right I don't, because this is the best women's division on the Western Front. So here we are going to kick things off with Ultimate X, but it's not the men. It's the second ever Knockouts Ultimate X match. As the Bulikla Badass, former Knockouts World Champion Tasha Steelz, who won the inaugural one back at Hard to Kill 2022. She goes up against Impact Original, Alicia Edwards, the quintessential diva and first ballot pick. I think this should become TNA Knockouts champion. I said what I said. Michelle Shaw, a threat straight out of the Rebellion Complex and a longtime veteran of the independent scene in Canada. Jodie Fred, of course, joined Impact Wrestling last year, making her TNA debut. Saya Brookside, of course, you all know her from NXT UK. Also, my Stardom people will know she's part of Club Venus. Of course, the daughter of Robbie Brookside. And the newly signed, member of Subculture, by the way, and honestly, one of the powerhouses of this division, Danny Luna. And for those that don't know how an Ultimate X works, there is an X hang above the ring across this, let's just call it apparatus. And you have to climb the structure, make your way across the ropes, and grab the X. At least that's the most conventional way, even if it's unconventional. I haven't seen anybody yet get a ladder and sit up underneath the dang thing and try and grab it. Although I did see Rakeem Raju once try and use a hook, and that was hilarious. Either way, the Knockouts Ultimate X match will lead towards a future TNA Knockouts Championship match, which Tasha Steelz, of course, cashed in on at Sacrifice after winning Hard to Kill 2022 and beat Mickie James for the title. So, does history repeat? Is new history made? Are you looking at possibly the next to come TNA Knockouts champion? Now, I've already told you the rundown about all these women. And right now, you are looking at 4 that have been around for a longer time on the Impact roster. Danny Luna newly signed, and Zaya Brookside making her debut. For me, I think it comes down to a couple of things. So, about to say, what was I saying? I've lost my train of thought. For me, it comes down to a couple of things. I look at, first off, Danny Luna climbing that. That's going to be scary, but that's going to be unique because I know she can go to high heights. I think about Michelle Shaw and her Shawtourage, Savannah Evans getting involved on her behalf for a heater. I think about Tasha Steelz, and she's willing to do whatever it takes, of course, to get to the title. Eddie Edwards, though, to your point, who's to say that Eddie Edwards doesn't get on behalf of Alicia Edwards here? You know, the ride or die couple looks out for each other. And also, let's be honest here. Who's to say that TNA won't pull a fast one like they did with Jake Something at Slammiversary and add another surprise entrance? Either way, I'm leaning right now towards Michelle Shaw. I think she has the most potential to become champion this year. She's had countless opportunities for the tag title and the world title, and I think that she really set a mark when she shut the spotlight off Deonna Purrazzo at the end of Final Resolution last year. And I think she's looking to take that spot. I think that she is going to use this to her advantage to finally guarantee her not only a shot, because she's already had previous shots, but I think she's actually going to get the title. My pick right now is Michelle Shaw out of this field, but this is going to be a very fun match to set the pace, to say the least. And King Mike, good to see you. Love seeing that. TNA on the chat. So my pick for this is Michelle Shaw. All right. Chris, we're going to start with you on this. You look at these field of 6 women here. You look at potential, previous champion, potential debut. You look at this field of 6. You have people that were involved in NXT UK, and then you have people that you learned, of course, only in Impact Wrestling. And based on what I told you in the history of these 6, who do you think grabs the X and one step closer to winning the TNA Knockouts Championship possibly this year?
Well, let's look at it as this. Tasha Steelz and Alicia Edwards were involved in the first women's Ultimate X match.
Correct.
So bear with that in mind. They have knowledge and understanding on the Ultimate X, and those two are going to have strategies throughout that match tomorrow. No doubt in my mind that they're going to have strategies on figuring out what they could do to pull off this victory. As I'm looking at the 6 right now, that Danny Luna person, if I said her name correctly, I hope I did.
You did.
She's not winning. Zaya Brookside, I'm happy to see her wrestle again. I know we all grew up with her down in NXT UK. It sucks that she didn't get much notability in NXT UK. So I don't see her winning here. Jordan Fred, I don't see winning this. If, to my understanding, I have a gut feeling they're going with a heel to win this match here, because if for some reason the knockout women's champion could be, I don't know, maybe Jordan Grace, you want a heel versus face for that knockout women's championship. So as of now, my prediction to win the Ultimate X match is Giselle Shaw.
Okay, look at that. 2 minds thinking alike. All right, JJ. So again, you know TNA, you know the history of Ultimate X and what it's led to. It's led to double contendership, it's led to champions. But the women, they just got their feet wet 2 years ago for the first time ever in this extreme circumstance. And so far, the win ratio is 100% on whoever won it. Tasha Steelz being the first. So does the trend follow not only when it comes to maybe the same competitor, but the same outcome? What's your take on this field here, and who do you got?
The one that really catches my attention is Jody Threat. I don't think they're going to give it to Tasha Steelz and have a repeat. I don't think they're going to give it to Alicia Edwards. It really comes down to Giselle Shaw and Jody Threat for me. And Giselle Shaw has been around for a while.
Yes, she has.
Jody Threat, I believe you just said, is kind of recent to the company.
She came in as of last year, and she's also had some bad blood and fallout with the Shaw Entourage and Giselle Shaw particularly.
So there you go. I'm looking at Jody Threat to take this one.
Wow. All right. I like that. And for all we know, it could come down to these two literally climbing across the ropes. And again, does the Shaw Entourage come into play? Does the Heater, Savannah Evans, come into play? Does somebody else? And also, Jody Threat, she doesn't like bullies. She's already smashed Alicia Edwards and Giselle Shaw on numerous occasions. So, in fact, by the resolution, it was Alicia Edwards that lost to Jody Threat in an impromptu match when Ebony Corelli asked her to leave, but she didn't. So, this is one of those matches that I think sets the pace and the identity of the women's division. And then with an interesting thought here, TNA might need a women's X division, the women's X division championship. I'm not sure about that. I like that idea, especially if it becomes maybe a constant thing, especially we see what Option C has led to. But I don't know if there's enough history or background yet for the women at Ultimate X to justify that. Is there a depth in the roster? Absolutely. But when I think of X Division, it is more officially decided through Ultimate X on more occasions. I mean, heck, there's been like 50 Ultimate X matches in TNA history, men alone. Now you add these two on top of it. What's your thoughts regarding that comment, Jada? Do you think that maybe that could become a thing? I mean, Ring of Honor just added a Ring of Honor Television Championship, and we know the depth of the Ring of Honor Women's Division.
I don't know about all that. I feel like we don't really need an extra championship for the women. One of the things we complain about through all the companies is too many titles, too many titles, too many
Yeah, right.
titles. Do we really need to add another championship here? I really don't think so. I just don't see what it would benefit. And when you figure the women kind of take it to the limit anyway, and the X division is all about, it's not about weight limits, it's about no limits. They always take it to the limits.
And push it.
So I don't see any reason why they would need to. They're the best booked women's division in the US, with my NXT being second, but I just don't think we need another singles title.
Yeah, and let's also keep in mind here when you look at the graphics for the upcoming TNA PLE, they're going to focus probably more on tag team wrestling in Naga's division because let's not forget the Nagas have the Nagas Tag Team Championships, currently held by MK Ultra, Killer Kelly, and Masha Slamovics. And I'm pretty sure we're going to find out what the future holds for them and the new TNA Knockouts Tag Team Championships sooner rather than later, possibly tomorrow night. So it's a unique idea, but right now, with the way the women are booked across the board sometimes in TNA and Impact Wrestling, I don't think they need it. But again, more opportunity, never a bad thing for women's wrestling. And TNA knows how to capitalize that more than ever, especially thanks to Gail Kim, the first ever Knockouts champion, might I add. I'm just saying. All right. Well, as we keep going on, oh, he's been a few years. Okay, that again, based on the way TNA shapes and evolves, you might have something there, especially if they get an all women focused showcase on
Yeah.
maybe weekly or quarterly basis. Just saying.
I
Anyway,
was going to say, if you get a deep enough division, and I'm not saying that the TNA Knockouts division isn't deep, but if you get a deep enough division where you can justify an hour or a 2 hour slot on Access TV that is just showcasing the knockouts, or even a quarterly pay-per-view, that is just focusing on the knockouts, then I could see maybe getting an X Division championship for the women.
right.
But other than that, I would almost say I'd prefer to see a women's digital media championship as opposed to an X Division championship.
I agree. Well, since we're talking about no limits and possibilities, big what ifs. I mean, again, for someone that's deeper in the microphone, you might want to mute just saying. Because let's be honest here. We're reaching out super far, right? For things that you want to happen or you think that can't happen. JJ, you and I are reaching far to reach out and complete our journey to WrestleMania 40. God help us. And we just got through WrestleMania 13 with one particular individual. And here that individual stands in 2024 in singles action because he's not human. What the heck? How is PCO still alive? I'm just saying. But yes, folks, this is a match, and you recognize that guy? That's the guy that beat Chris Jericho at WrestleMania 29. That's Fandango, and that is Vladimir Kozlov on his left. This is an actual thing. This is the biggest what the hell am I going to see here, but this is going to be unique to say the least. It's PCO versus Dirty Dango. JJ, just this graphic just makes me go, But I'm just going to ask you straight up. Does PCO win this?
This is a weird one for me because I've been sitting here talking about the future. The future. We don't need to focus on the past.
Right.
But Dirty Dango's not exactly an upstart either.
No, he's not.
So this really is a crapshoot. Dirty Dango, while a new name, is still doing pretty much the same Fandango shtick that he's been doing.
Except now he says, "Man, do I hate pro wrestling." Anyway, continue.
But Pierre Carl Ouellet has manifested into this creature,
Perfect Creation 1.
and granted, he's been doing this gimmick for what is it now, a year and a half?
In TNA Impact, yes, but he's been doing this now for far beyond that. Might I remind you, this guy's a former Ring of Honor World Champion, PCO. He beat Roosh for this title back in
Okay.
the end days of the Ring of Honor era before Tony Khan acquired it. So he's been PCO for quite a while.
Okay. But on the main stage, we'll go with a year and a half.
Yes, it's coming to
Because
Impact
Ring of
as part
Honor
of
didn't
more.
really become a main stage until TK bought it.
You're right. And he came part of Impact Wrestling when Honor No More invaded back in 2022. So,
Okay, so 2 years.
approximately. 2 years approximately.
I feel like PCO is the guy to take this. Like, I really do, because I feel like he's the guy that, much like we were saying about Tommy Dreamer, nobody expected PCO to be relevant in 2024.
Right.
We called the man in action at WrestleMania 10, Noah. That was 1994. That was 30 years ago.
For those that don't know, I'm 31 years old. Also, my bad. Botch. Daggum.
So I'm like, I would love to see, and yes, I'm gonna put this in the ether. I would love to see PCO TNA World Heavyweight Champion by the end of 2024.
Oh my god.
I don't know how we get there. Feaster fired. King of the Mountain. I don't know how we get there. But I would love to see it happen.
Boy,
just because nobody would have expected it. Let him win it in a Monsters Ball match. Can we just make that happen?
Okay.
Monsters Ball for the TNA World title, and the modern day Frankenstein wins the title in Monsters Ball. Can you write a more perfect story, Noah? Really?
No, and to your point, PCO won a 4-way Monsters Ball match at Bound for Glory, and you were one of the very few that called that. Damn you. But I'll be straight up with you. I believe Joe Hendry has a more realistic chance of being TNA World Champion this year than PCO. I'm just saying. And that's not a joke. That's not an insult. That's just for me a fact of life. I'm just being realistic here. Before we go any further down this cacophony of madness, Chris, you remember Fandango? I don't think you're going to be Fandangoing because the man hates pro wrestling. But do you think Fandango beats PCO?
Well, personally, you guys brought up about how PCO got a world title match last year at a TNA special event, and personally, I said it on a prediction video that PCO gets a world championship match, and I was right on that.
You both are horrible people wishing that into the freaking ether.
Why though? Why though? I'm sorry for cutting you off, Chris. I'll let you finish here. Not trying to pull Kanye, but why are we such horrible people for putting it into existence?
Because it's crazy to think this guy that's literally been fed battery acid, lit on fire, ran by a van, and freaking cinder block in the face, busted open, bleeding buckets against Steve Macklin, still it could actually be TNA World Champion.
Okay, let me ask you this. Would you rather PCO be TNA World Champion by the end of the year, or Jeff Jarrett be AEW World Champion by the end of the year?
Oh, God, don't start with Jeff Jarrett.
No. Serious question.
Oh,
God.
Made me choose the lesser of two evils.
Because I knew he's going to pick PCO.
Damn
ahead,
it! Yes,
Chris.
I am. Ah, damn it, JJ! You evil idiot! Ah, evil genius.
Go
Ah,
ahead, Chris. Sorry
yeah,
about
go
that.
ahead, Chris. Dadgummit.
Hey,
That's
that's
wrong.
fine. We could go off the rails once in a while.
No, it happens all the time. You know what?
I know Dirty Dango got his 2 Padres with him.
Yep.
I'm actually gonna say this right now. As of now, I got Dirty Dango winning this.
I like the fact that there are opposites here. This makes it even more fun. And again, for those that don't know, that big dude in the sunglasses is Vladimir Kozlov, the same guy that used to dance with Santino Morella in the early days of Monday Night Raw. Just saying, boy, how the world goes full circle. Vladimir Kozlov in TNA, not on my bucket list or bingo card. Anyway, all right, well, I like the fact that you both are on opposite sides, but I think just because of the fact that I think Vladimir's going to try and smash PCO, and Dirty Dango's able to beat him, and PCO can't be put down. It's going to build into a story of PCO versus, what's his name now? Ole Prudius. I think PCO wins, but I think he wins via disqualification. All right, dadgummit. Let's go ahead and keep moving on down this card here. And let's go ahead and change gears once again into tag team wrestling. Because the brand new minted red strap, by the way, I'm just going to say this real quick. Way to go. I can't find it. Way to go. Oh, there it is. That's what a tag team championship should look like. Damn it. But I digress. The TNA World Tag Team Championships will be on the line in 4-way action as the current champs, the ABC, Ace Austin and Chris Bay, to sweep me if you're a part of Bullet Club, for life. Of course, the 2-time now tag team champions take on the previous tag team champions, the Rascals, that they beat at Bound for Glory. Of course, the Rascals won the Talent Emergence 2023 against Subculture, taking on the newly created team of Speedball Mike Bailey and newly signed to TNA, Trent Seven. Y'all remember Mustache Mountain, former NXT UK tag team champions. And of course, Mike Bailey and Trent Seven, their second outing now as a tag team. Previous outing last year, Fire Illusion, they beat the Rascals. And last but not least, he is James Drake. He is Liverpool's #1, Zach Gibson. And together, they are the grizzled young veterans and soon to be recognized as TNA's #1. Grit your teeth for that. I cannot wait to see this team in action. So damn happy. Of course, the Grizzly Young Veterans, the first ever NXT UK tag team champions. Now, the last time the ABC was involved in fatal 4-way tag team action, they lost at Slammiversary to Subculture. So, history has not been kind to the tag champs under this condition. But again, Grizzly Young Vets making their debut. Mike Bailey, Trent Seven, second time ever as a tag team. The Rascals, previous tag champs. ABC, they're all about taking on the world, and here they are taking on the world once again. Grizzly Young Veterans, by the way, were 231-day reigning NXT UK tag team champions. This is a who's who, and it is not elimination. It is first pinfall submission wins this match. So, Chris, who do you have leaving with the newly minted red strap TNA Tag Team Championships out of this field? Does the ABC once again outweigh the odds? We are in Las Vegas. Or do you see new tag team champions in the jackpot?
Well, this is actually a toss-up for me because put the graphics back up, please.
Oh, of course.
Okay. I'm gonna delete Mike Bailey and Trent Seven. They are not winning this match whatsoever.
Are you doing that just because they're the newest makeshift team on the block and the other 3 are established tag teams for a longer duration?
I'm not really sure because I'm just not behind them right now.
Okay.
The second
I
team,
just want to pick your brain more. Continue.
and personally, I'm doing approximately elimination to get me down to 2. So that's how my thinking is.
Fair enough.
Another team I'm gonna eliminate is Grizzled Young Veterans. I'm happy that they found a company that they can go to, and that is TNA. And personally, I'm happy that they are their old selves again instead of the dyads from NXT. That had been one of the most, maybe the worst gimmicks I've seen with Grizzled Young Veterans. I wish they could have just been the Grizzled Young Veterans, not the dyads.
The past is better off left in the past, but we'll talk more about that, I'm sure, here later.
With Grizzled Young Veterans, I do see them as tag team champions this year. It's not going to be tomorrow. It's going to happen maybe soon rather than later. I know Daniel says by the summer, so we got to wait and see on that. So now it's down to two. It's ABC and the Rascals.
The two that started it all.
And I just got a gut feeling we saw and we predicted one title change that's going to happen, and that was Crazy Steve.
Yes.
I think we're going to get a brand new tag team champions tomorrow night. I think the Rascals becomes the new TNA tag team champions.
Okay, then. Interesting thought. But again, the Rascals, they love to play their games and they love to take advantage of the field. I mean, they were in cohesion with the Good Cans and holding the Tad Tiles hostage. But I think I'd rather see these straps silver and red than silver and green. That being said, JJ, you see this field right now? Quite a field of tag team wrestling specialists here. And of course, the only one that really isn't a tag team wrestling specialist is people Mike Bailey. But he is a former X Division champion and one of the hardest workers in the industry, for being perfectly honest here. So, what's your take on this? Who you think leads the TNA tag team division into the new era, at least to begin with?
This is honestly one of the hardest matches for me to call.
Right?
Because like the only team that I could realistically see not walking out as the champions is the team that Chris said is going to walk out as champions, the Rascals.
Ooh.
I feel like either the champs are going to retain in this one, because we can't have every championship change hands. And ABC being a part of Bullet Club, you know, Bullet Club being still one of the hugest things going in wrestling, factions all across the companies. Like there's money in having Bullet Club as your tag champs. But then we go back to what I've been talking about all show, shaping the future. The Grizzled Young Vets got fuck all of a shot in my NXT.
Damn it.
And who, Noah, is the person that I said was the MVP, not just in TNA, but in professional wrestling for 2023?
Oh, that would be the man that had the Impact Wrestling match the year of one Arrow Assassin Will Ospreay. That is Speedball Mike Bailey.
So I could see Mike Bailey and Trent Seven taking this just as like a thank you. Thank you for putting our company on your back last year, bro. And the more I think about it, the more I'm like, the Grizzled Young Vets, I feel, are the type of team that you want to have be that close in this match, and then you give them the reason to fight and claw and attack to get their titles.
Just give me more Zach Gibson promos and build them to its traditional tag title match, because I can just hear him talking about, what's this crap about full-way action? To determine the best team, we only need to go through one adversary. That just give me some of those type of promos because that's what they're about.
So I'm gonna call Speedball Mike Bailey and Trent Seven.
Wow. Okay. Well, it is odd considering the ABC last year in Las Vegas, just shortly after No Surrender, beat the Morrissey Machine Guns to win their first Impact Tag Team Championships. And they really came together as a duo in a very short period of time. So I definitely would not rule out Speedball Mike Bailey and Trent Seven here, with Trent Seven newly signed to TNA, might I add. It would give Speedball and Trent both initial direction and really would change the TNA landscape as far as I'm concerned. It also gives that whole idea of you don't know how the tag team landscape will be shaped in TNA. It might just not be internal. They might, go beyond here and defend these all over the world. And who knows what TNA's touring schedule is. I mean, Alex Shelley even talked about how he defended the world title in Australia and Scotland and England, etc. So, and more often than not, I think the tag titles do change hands more frequently than others in the short span of Impact, for being perfectly honest. I mean, again, you look at how many changes happened last year. It was Moisture Machine Guns, then it was the ABC, then it was the Subculture, then it was the Rascals, then it was back to the ABC. It's one of those things where right now this match is probably the most unpredictable one for me to call, but I think just because I don't think the Grizzlies offense is going to be a one-off, because ever since being free from prison and finally able to be who they actually are, I think they have new life, and they've already challenged other teams in Deadlock Pro Wrestling. I'm just saying. So I think right now I am going to say, because there's just too many different ways I can see this going, and I think that the Grizzly Young Veterans versus the ABC will be a very interesting dynamic of the gritty, older veterans of the game believe these young punks don't deserve those titles. It just feels like a story in itself. While the Rascals, they got bad blood. The Rascals lost to Speedball Mike Bailey and Trent Seven at Final Resolution. Let's not forget that. I'm going to say the champs actually retain. I'm going with the ABC here. As far as who they pin, the Rascals, and close the book on that tag rivalry. So I think the ABC are going to retain. Give them the moment. All right. Well, let's go ahead and shift gears here. I know it's been talked about in the chat, so let's go ahead and speculate on this. There's just this one subtle note. Worlds will collide this Saturday. You won't believe who is showing up. So, is it a cameo? Is it a new addition to the roster? Speculation abound. Is it somebody from Stardom, New Japan, WWE? Could Okada sign a long-term deal? Even though he's going to be at Snake Eyes, I don't think that would be much of a surprise unless he signed on the dotted line. Not going to be Will Ospreay. He signed at AEW. Could be somebody from Stardom to add to the depth of the Knockouts roster, especially with Julia being busy that night, of course, defending her title bout in the bag against Trish Adora. So what could this be? What could this mean? What could be the biggest thing we could see? What could bring in the most money? JJ, you and I have been talking about this for Banner for quite a little bit, so let's go ahead and get Chris's thoughts first, just to see if we can actually change our way of thinking. Chris, what do you think happens in this moment at TNA Hard to Kill? Is it a new signing? Is it a cameo? Is it somebody formerly involved in TNA? Is it somebody coming out from WWE that maybe was released? Or have we truly reached an agreement unlike anything we've ever seen, and we are going to be shocked beyond belief? Chris, what's your speculation on this?
Personally, I'm just torn about this because I haven't put like too much thinking into this. Is it going to be a major signing? Is it going to be like someone from the past? Is it going to be someone from the future? Is it going to be that we're all going to be like shocked about it? I know they've been keeping this hush hush, and we just don't know. And I know you said about Monet, like Mercedes Monet. I
didn't say nothing of the sort. I just said money. What are you talking about? I didn't say nothing of the sort.
I just don't see Mercedes Moné being that person to sign with TNA. I'm hoping that she comes to WWE at the Royal Rumble. But when they said about Wars Collide, I don't think this is a signing.
You don't?
This is TNA. TNA is back for a reason. They said Wars Collide. I just got a gut feeling we're going to be seeing a TNA original tomorrow night. And he is going to be competing in a Fatal 4-Way match for the undisputed WWE Universal Championship at the Royal Rumble. And his name is a phenomenal AJ Styles.
Well, they did get AJ to say happy anniversary to Impact TNA Impact at last year on video. So I guess the next best thing would be him actually showing up on the stage. But again, is that truly possible? I mean, Mickey James showing up as the Knockouts World Champion in the Royal Rumble is one thing. But somebody from WWE still under contract showing up in TNA. That's a whole different level of discretion and loophole agreements, unless something bigger is in the works. Now, JJ, you and I talked about this. Shout, by the way, to my fellow impactful friend for life, the new normal, Jerry Slaughter. And again, how many times I said this guy's underrated? Just saying. But anyway, back to JJ. JJ, you and I talked about the big what ifs. You and I also talked about the whole business structure and maybe the more looseness we're seeing develop lately when it comes to cohesion versus competition and what it could lead to under longer advisement. I'm not gonna say anything else. JJ, let your mind wander. Go ahead, tell the people what's on your head. What the hell do you think this means? Who's showing up as a signing? Are we changing the industry once? Are we changing the game once again in TNA?
I definitely think we are. You know, we've talked a lot here since 2021 about Forbidden Doors.
Yes.
You know, ever since AEW kind of opened up the Forbidden Door and Kenny Omega became Impact World Champion and Christian became Impact World Champion again, and you know, all this stuff. Forbidden Door has been the buzz term. And TNA has gotten in on it. Excuse me, Impact Wrestling at the time. AEW was the leader. Impact Wrestling got in on it. AAA got in on it. New Japan got in on it. But we really haven't seen WWE get in on it, with the exception of the Mickey James Royal Rumble appearance.
Correct.
Worlds will collide.
Collide.
NXT Worlds collide. What if, now that TNA and WWE are both under the same parent company of Endeavor, what if, now that TNA is branding their pay-per-views as PLEs, what if we get not just AJ Styles, Chris, but because we have Joseph Parks, Petey Williams, Ron Killings, all working for the WWE. What if Triple H and or Shawn Michaels leads them back into their old stomping grounds to set up the potential of an NXT or WWE Worlds Collide supercard? Impact already has Multiverse United, and AEW has Forbidden Door. Both of those work with New Japan. Imagine Impact and New Japan and WWE working on the same card, or even just WWE and Impact. The possibilities are endless.
You know,
And I know that it seems far fetched.
yeah.
And to Keen Mike's point, you don't see WWE doing it with the main roster, but NXT. But you've also got to figure NXT for all intents and purposes. And here I am. I'm gonna put my NXT down for a minute. So roll with me. My NXT are still your rookies. They're the guys they're Saturday Night Live, not quite on-time player level,
Yeah.
Impact superstars are on the level. Just because they're on a shitty television channel doesn't mean they're not at that level. You can't look me in the eyes and tell me that their talent isn't on that level.
Mm.
TNA talent roster is above the NXT talent roster.
Oh, bar none. You kidding me?
That wouldn't be fair. Now, is the TNA roster at the level of the WWE roster? That's questionable. So that's why you kind of like mix match stuff. And I feel as long as you mix match everything, then you're solid.
Not gonna lie. I do like the idea of Braun Breaker versus Josh Alexander and Killer Kelly versus Lara Valkyra. But NXT TNA? TNA NXT Worlds Collide? What? It just would break my mind to see a paradigm shift like that. I could get WWE trying to be the global localization. They're trying to be in the Japanese market now, invading All Japan Pro Wrestling, challenging Kazuhiko Nakajima for the Triple Crown Championship, bringing Charlie Dempsey in there, who probably got his head freaking kicked off his shoulders. But it's one of those things where it's like people have wondered, okay, Austin, you're a young AJ Styles. You have that potential. You have that upside. You have that, type of charisma and dedication sees to this company. AJ Styles and Ace Austin finally face to face. And AJ, to my knowledge, was never actually, yes, he was a tag champion. He was a tag champion in TNA. I take that back. So, but the only thing crazier than that, well, I guess it wouldn't be as crazy because we see the AEW title, but Samoa Joe's the current AEW World Champion. If Samoa Joe shows up on stage with that title and gets confronted there, that just seems more believable because I've seen AEW and Impact work before, and it seemed like they just took a hiatus. But WWE opening their doors to anybody just seems absolutely unreal to see. But I don't think it's unreal to believe based on what I saw in 2023. And again, you did name originals, but Worlds Collide, TNA WWE collab Worlds Collide PLE presented on Peacock and TNA Plus on the same night. What the fuck?
Noah, it seemed impossible to imagine under Vince McMahon. Triple H is a fan of professional wrestling. Damn it. Just like you.
That's fair.
Triple H is about expanding WWE's reach. Think about it. WWE has become more of a global juggernaut since the Triple H era. Think about all of the overseas pay-per-views and PLEs. Backlash in Puerto Rico, Backlash coming in France. Freaking Clash at the Castle, Bash in Berlin. All of this stuff. That has all been under the Triple H era.
And we're also in the fight capital of the world, which means, honestly, now that I figure about it, it could be somebody from the fucking UFC.
Which is also under Endeavor, by the way.
Right, which just adds to, but it just, I don't know.
I know, but bro, honestly, I think if it was going to be any of the WWE cast-off signings, they would have announced it.
That's fair.
I really do.
I think that's fair. Yeah, yeah.
Because there was nobody in the cast-offs that's going to make that huge of an impact.
Pun intended.
Not even Shelton Benjamin, who I saw mentioned in the chat.
Yeah.
Not going to make enough of an impact.
Yeah. And to Daniel's point,
just like they announced the Grizzled Young Vets. So this has to be something earth-shattering. This has got to be something that's going to rock the very foundation of TNA.
If I see Scott D'Amore and Triple H side by side, I am not.
And not even just Triple H. Can you imagine if it's Triple H, like I said, and Shawn, and you hear, "Are you ready?"
Okay.
Over the PA system.
Okay. That
because what better music to bring them both out? Let's be real.
That's fair. That's fair, to be honest. All right. So the biggest possible thing we could optimistically expect: WWE TNA Worlds Collide PLE presented on both Peacock and TNA Plus. Other than that, sign somebody super special, I guess, from a world beyond our imagination. And as far as who that could be, your guess is as good as mine. I have not a damn clue.
Yeah, the only signing I could see that would be that earth-shattering is if they had enough Monet to back up to Mercedes's house.
Okay.
But with Trinity's contract supposedly, according to rumors, ending on January 20th, 1 week before the Rumble, why would Mercedes be coming in as Trinity is leaving?
Yeah, I can't see, like, I did it here, you can do it here too. Nah, I can't. I don't think that would be. I don't think that would be the case. But it's still wild to think the potential of this idea being a reality of WWE and TNA, dare I say it, coexisting. That would break my brain.
Again, right. Like I know you want extremes, you want possibilities, you want speculation and coffee talk.
Yeah.
There you go, bro. Could you imagine if you were sitting there tomorrow watching Hard to Kill on commentary with Jeff and somebody from WWE comes out? And Dattila, our correspondent on the ground, will be there live to see it.
Okay, first off, lucky damn it, lucky, but nothing but love to my friend. Please follow our folks at Raise the Wrestling. And happy birthday, Dattila. I hope they have an incredible time tomorrow night. And at Snake Eyes 2, seeing Okada. Damn it, lucky. And again, I gotta consider New Japan's already going to be there because the following night, the tapings, they're getting freaking Kazuchika Okada. So,
Mhm.
unless Okada's signing on the dotted line, I can't. I just, and to Key Mike's point, again, but that was Chicago. I mean, that was WWE. I don't know, man. It's wild to think, but it's not impossible to believe more than ever before. So, I mean, I guess like time will tell. And I know the new normal will just put me into a whole nother reality of warp sorts, but friggin' Rocky Horror Picture Show look normal. All right. Well, again, we'll find out soon enough, literally in less than I imagined, 24 hours. So, how does TNA's birth begin? And what world do they collide with? I guess we'll find out soon enough. It's a wild talk. Oh, yeah. And Flopdog is going to be there. And some music video is going to happen. Who cares? All right. Let's go ahead and move on here. We'll switch gears. And I got to imagine something with an announcement like that, where the possibilities are limitless. Why don't we talk about the Limitless Championship, shall we? And
Keith Lee,
JJ,
what?
wait, what? Yeah, about to say. Yeah, I'm gonna say this right now. Keith Lee, get your fucking butt to TNA and show us truly how we should bask in your glory. Because God damn, did AEW drop the ball on you? But I digress. Lord forgive me. Anyway, JJ, you know I had to give you this to lead off of. It's the TNA X Division Championship triple threat match. You have Bill Saban, Chris Saban defending against Time Splitter and fellow partner in the trio Time Machine. For those that know, Kushida and oh God help us. El Hijo del Vikingo. Now, for those that don't know about these three men, Chris Sabin is just a 10-time X Division champion, holding this title now in this run alone for 126 days. Kushida is a former 6-time IWGP Junior Heavyweight Champion, and of course, he previously faced Speedball Mike Bailey, beat him in one-on-one action last year in August. Great TV match. El Hijo de Vikingo, probably one of the greatest luchadors today, period. 770 days and counting, still AAA Mega Champion. And of course, Impact got their first taste of El Hijo de Vikingo when they went down to AAA with that collaboration show. Now, the X Division title is truly the title, the cornerstone of this company that made the alternative. As JJ says, it is about no limits. You look at the men that held it from the very first, AJ Styles. You look at the men that you think should not have held it, but did and raised it, like Samoa Joe. You think about men you see now in WWE and AEW that have held this title. I think about DJZ. I think about Aaron Grimes. I think about Abyss for what it was worth. Damn it,
Bobby
that was rough.
Lashley.
Yep, Bobby Lashley. The Great Sonata. The list goes on and on. People like Billy, Josh Alexander. Trey Miguel. The list goes on and on and on. For me, this title is what defines you out of everybody else, not just in TNA, but in this industry. And I will die on that mountain. Kushida has never held it. Vikingo has never held it. But what Samoa Joe, Christopher Daniels, and AJ Styles set the bar to that has been unmatched. And what Speedball Mike Bailey, Jonathan Gresham, and Trey Miguel try to get close to at Rebellion. These three are going to get both of those matches a run for their money, considering the history of the X Division Championship, despite the limited history with all three men against each other. Kushida and Chris Sabin, they never faced each other one-on-one. They've only been together in tag team action. El Hijo de Vikingo, he's never faced either of these other men. This is going to be nut and futz, and I cannot freaking wait, and this might be my match of the night. JJ, who you got leaving as the TNA X Division champion? Is it still El Sabin? Or has the time finally come with a time splitter? Or do we get a huge, and this is what TNA is known for, wild moment, and El Hijo becomes a double champion?
This is one fall to a finish, right?
Yep, triple threat.
Okay. And is this Vikingo's first match in TNA? Impact, whatever you want to call it? Because I know he gets frequently used on AEW.
Ring of Honor, AEW, AAA, GCW, you name a company.
Well, AAA is where his home base is, correct? Because but he's frequently used on AEW. Is this his first time in TNA?
As far as TNA goes, the answer is absolutely yes.
Okay, so I'm not really sure what they're going to do with him post this is kind of the point I'm trying to get to.
Hmm.
Is if this is his first time there, with him being more of a featured AEW talent, and even Ring of Honor is still Tony Khan, is still AEW, but that's a whole other can of worms.
Right.
I feel like he's going to be the fall guy.
Someone has to get a fall here.
Well, right, but we always talk about there's the winner, there's the fall guy, and there's the buffer.
And two of these people
And
are
I have a
long-term
feeling
signed.
that Vikingo is either going to be the buffer or the fall guy here. He's not going to be the winner because we don't really know what his stand is as far as TNA going forth. Is this a one-off? Is he going to sign a year deal? What's the status here?
Right.
If he does sign a year deal, can he still work with AEW? He's pretty heavily featured over there. I think it's Kushida's time. I love Saban, but Saban's the past 10-time champion. I think it's Kushida's time. And I think by Kushida pinning Vikingo, you can have a little bit of a rivalry between Kushida and Saban going forward because Saban was never beaten. Even if it's just a rivalry out of respect, you didn't beat me. And you've got a program that can lead going into the next pay-per-view, no surrender.
I kind of agree because I do think Kushida deserves the chance with this title. But I think Kushida finally bests his friend. I think Kushida pins Chris Sabin. I think Akio there is just to add more fire to what's going to be an insane trios affair for the SCG Championship, where if you blink, you're going to miss something, and hopefully Akio doesn't break his neck off at 6:30 because that dude has literally risked life and limb, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
I look at
Thankfully, we don't have to predict who gets the pin.
Yeah, thank Christ, right?
We just pick the winner.
Yeah, right. I feel like for me, Chris Sabin, I've been talking about for the longest time, and this kind of plays into what I think is going to happen at the end. So I'm just going to leave it at that. But I think Kushida finally does get this. You got to remember, last year at Rebellion, he had a chance to win the vacated Impact World Championship against Steve Macklin. And we ushered in the age of mayhem when Macklin won, surviving the hoverboard lock, almost losing his arm in the process. And Kushida, he's been one of those stair-step guys, but he's also the original student of Scott D'Amore, who, might I add, is now the president of TNA. And Chris Sabin, again, established vet. He sets the pace, quite literally. And he literally right now is planning the landscape. I think Kushida, with the fact that he is newly signed to TNA, I think we let him roll with this and be at a record time at WWE Junior Heavyweight Champion. Let's see how he elevates the game with the X Division. I think that Kushida does win here, but I think he pins Chris Sabin. And I'm just going to leave it at that for right now. And again, we have seen the Esper Tau change hands more frequently on occasion, and also we've seen it change hands in triple threats. But we've also seen it retain too. But I think Kushida deserves this. He hasn't had an accolade yet since being part of Impact and now signed to the company. I think it's time that he finally, reaches for that potential. And I think the Esper title will allow him to do that. I think Kushida wins, pinning Sabin. Chris, your thoughts on the Esper Championship? Who do you got on this?
Well, this is going to be match of the night. This is going to be a banger. And personally, I'm looking forward to this match tomorrow with Kushida, Chris Sabin, and the other guy's name is El Hinjo Del Vinco. Sorry if I didn't get that correct.
You tried, man. It's all right.
Yeah, it's gonna be a banger, and personally, yeah, Chris Sabin is a 10-time title. I feel this whole entire championship needs a reset. And how do you get that is I feel they need to pull the trigger on Chris Sabin turning on Alex Shelley, and we get Chris Sabin, Alex Shelley for the World Championship, and I hope that feud happens in 2024. How do we get there? Chris Sabin doesn't need the championship. Tomorrow night, this is my third title change. I have Kushida becoming the new championship tomorrow night.
All right, so we all got the same pick, but we kind of got different ideas. I like that though, because again, it goes to the fact that the X Division, no limits to the possibilities when it comes to direction and presentation. This is gonna be freaking awesome. All right, well, from the match of No Limits, let's go to a match of Iron Man standards. We have the Iron Man of TNA Impact Wrestling versus the Iron Man of, y'all might know this promotion if you've actually heard of it, Major League Wrestling, because Josh Alexander goes one-on-one for the first time ever against Alex Hammerstone. For those that don't know, Alex Hammerstone, he is a 10-year veteran that beat Jacob Fatu October 2nd, 2021, while he was the National Openweight Champion, unifying National Openweight and the World Heavyweight Champion of Major League Wrestling. He has held the National Weight Championship for 854 days after beating Brian Pillman Jr. for it back in 2019, and he held the World Championship for 644 days, while Josh Alexander, of course, held the Estrogen Championship for 145 days, including against TJP in a 63-minute classic, and became the longest reigning Impact World Champion at 336 days after outlasting Alexa Speedball Mike Bailey and overcoming juggernauts, including Not Limited to Moose, Jonah, Tomohiro Ishii, and Joe Doring. Both these men have a resume to be world-class champions in their own right. But this is a match truly about your pride in this business. To hold yourself up to that standard of being the best, being the best. These are two of the biggest heavyweights in the game, and they are the Iron Man respectfully. They are the standard of their companies. Here's Worlds Collide for you again, as Impact Wrestling TNA is always known to work with other companies, not just AAA, not just NJPW, but also MLW, Major League Wrestling. So in this first time ever one-on-one match, where Alex Hammerstone, who has youth on his side, Chris, only being a 10-year vet of the game, was inspired by the likes of Josh Alexander to get into his career. While Josh Alexander has been toiling at this for over 20 plus years. Who do you got winning this battle of heavyweights at the end of the day? Now, keep in mind, Josh Alexander is the Iron Man, the standard, signed to TNA. Alex Hammerstone is signed, as we know, to Major League Wrestling. But can you imagine both these men here under this company? Who you got in this heavyweight contest, Chris?
Personally, you brought up about MLW. Personally, the last time Alex Hammerstone was in MLW was with the Jacob Fatu matches, and where he dropped the championship to Alex Kane. As far as this match goes, I'm keeping it short and sweet. I got Josh Alexander for the win here, and Josh Alexander is going into his rematch with my favorite superstars of all time, and he signed with AEW at Full Gear, and that is Will Ospreay. So I got Josh Alexander winning this match here.
That's a good point, because to that point, JJ, prior to this, not only we saw Fire Resolution, he tied alongside Sesame Jr. and beat the Morrison Machine Guns, but prior to that, he faced Will Ospreay and lost. And after this pay-per-view, again, until we'll see live, lucky damn it, lucky, it will be Josh Alexander and Will Ospreay too. And Josh Alexander, as far as I'm concerned, he's TNA for life. So, JJ, your thoughts on this heavyweight clash, and you got Josh as well.
I do have Josh as well. I don't want to undersell Hammerstone, but I have no knowledge of him.
That's fair.
And if he's just a one-stop shop for this week, you're not going to give him the victory. And then again, him going into facing Ospreay for the second time, he's got to have that momentum. You know,
that, yeah.
If there's anybody who carried Impact throughout its tenure, I feel like it's Josh Alexander.
Bar none. He did everything.
He was the face of Impact very much the way that AJ Styles was the face of TNA. Now, on the one hand, that could be a downfall because now we're going back into the TNA era. We need to find a new face.
True.
And could Hammerstone be somebody that could be looked at? Alexander was the old school, Hammerstone could be the new. But much like I thought about Mike Bailey, I feel like he'll get this victory kind of as a thank you, even if he's not considered the face of the new TNA for long term.
It's fair. And again, literally signed by Scott D'Amore, and his wife's also the ring announcer. So I mean, it's just one of those things where I feel like he's put everything into what he calls his home. To your point, so I think this definitely is one of those matches where Josh inspires and leads by example. Why he is still the standard with or without the title. He is TNA, just like Oshiaki is Pro Wrestling Noah. This is gonna be awesome, though. All right. Well, now we come down to what I imagine both matches have to be most important because they literally are the leading jewels, the gems of the freaking company. And of course, we're going to start off with the women. And there's a reason why I didn't show one title. Look at this fucking beautiful strap, folks. That's the Women's Championship. Damn it. But I digress. I'm just going to let that sit here for a moment. God, that's a beautiful title.
Yeah, while you leave it sit there, why don't we talk about the spouse of Mr. Macklin?
Yes, as you see in the background with the Knockouts Impact World Championship, the Virtuosa, long may she reign. The new era officially begins tomorrow night on AEW Collision, where she stirs it up with AEW Original Red Velvet. And of course, that will be covered right here on the Championship Era Multiverse of Media. So stay tuned for that, folks, as we will have simulcast for both Collision Battle Belts and TNA Hard to Kill. But let's go ahead and slowly talk about Deonna here for a little bit, shall we? What Gail Kim and Awesome Kong laid back in the early 2000s, prior to 2010, and you think about those that held this championship, from Angelina Love to Winter to Tara to Brooke Tessmarker to Taryn Terrell to Jay to Rosemary to Taylor Wilde to going all the way, going. Yep. And of course, we look at this generation of knockouts. I, of course, talk about Lara Loca, Taya Valkyrie. I talk about Jordan Grace, the Juggernaut. I talk about the person that beat the Juggernaut, led, elevated, and brought this division to new heights for 3 years. The Virtuosa, Deonna Purrazzo. And now we look to see who will lead TNA Knockouts into the new era. Will it be the one with the brightest glow, or will it be the one that always seems to know how to create history? It's time to talk about the TNA Knockouts World Championship. Trinity versus Jordan Grace. And to King Mike's point, you're damn freaking right. Okay, so sadly put, Trinity found her glow and her spark in the professional wrestling, coming back to this industry in Chicago and doing the unthinkable, being the virtuosa, not once, but twice via submission, and has held on to the Knockouts World Championship into now the TNA Knockouts World Championship, again, as the best women's championship in the industry, but I digress. Of course, right now, guys, she has defended the title successfully against Alicia Edwards and Mickie James, much to King Mike's point, back at Bound for Glory after besting the Virtuosa 3 times, including Gail Kim as special guest referee. What Deonna Purrazzo defined against Jordan Grace, her rival, where it took 5 times for the Juggernaut to finally best the one obstacle, preventing her from getting back to this stage and trying to be the face of the division once again. Jordan Grace is the history maker. First and only ever Queen of the Mountain. First and only ever knockout, not only to make it to the finals of the Call Your Shot Gauntlet, but win it. First ever digital media champion. Could she be the first knockout to lead the new era of TNA as the Knockouts World Champion? Speculation, keyword, speculation abound when it comes to Trinity's contract status and future up in the air. and what we see once we finally hit 0 on that countdown. We are only strictly focusing on tomorrow night. And keep in mind, Ultimate X winner from earlier could very well make her presence be known and look towards capitalizing on that opportunity if they find one of these two vulnerable. Either way, this is the most important women's match right now this year because one of these two leads the knockouts into TNA's new era. JJ, does Jordan Grace make history or does Trinity continue to glow in TNA wrestling? Who do you got leaving with the Knockouts World Championship?
Well, I have leaving with the Knockouts World Championship Jody Threat, since that's who I picked in the Women's Ultimate X match.
So you think she's going to pull a moose and
I
capitalize
firmly believe that whoever wins the Women's Ultimate X match is walking out of there with the Knockouts title. Like I said, there is heavy rumor, that Trinity's contract ends on the 20th of January. So why retain here when she would just have to dump it at the TV tapings the next day? No sense right there.
Mm-hmm.
Because the spoilers are going to get out about the tapings, or you can do it on the live pay-per-view. So I say do it on the pay-per-view. Jordan Grace, I think, is going to pin Trinity as far as this goes, but is then going to get cashed in on by whoever wins the Ultimate X match. Because we need to begin a new era in TNA. And Jordan Grace is too defined by the Impact Knockouts title.
Okay.
Other than Tasha Steelz, I believe none of the other competitors in that match have been Impact Knockout champion. So whoever wins, as long as it's not Tasha Steelz, would be a new era in TNA.
Yeah.
And when you look at somebody like Thick Mama Pump, even after having gone through a war with Trinity, who out of those women looks like she's going to be the most apt to cash in on a prone Jordan Grace? That's part of why I'm going for Jody Threat.
So you think Jody Threat is the biggest threat to the Juggernaut, even if I think the quintessential diva is one to take the spotlight from the Knockouts champion. But either way, you got Trinity's glow being snuffed out as far as her run goes and her getting her first singles loss.
Yep.
Well, I'll tell you like this, JJ. I agree with you on one thing. Jordan Grace, last year at Hard to Kill, she came in as champion. And she lost to Mickie James when Mickie James was on her last rodeo. This may be Trinity's final stand to shine and glow, but I don't think Jordan Grace is out to repeat history. I think Jordan Grace is out to make history. I think Jordan Grace gives Trinity her first and only loss in her short Impact TNA career. I agree with you. I think Jordan Grace gets the title back too. There has to be a reason why Jordan Grace came back and finally beat the Virtuosa after 5 damn times. And what Deanna Purrazzo elevated from 2020 to 2023, Jordan Grace wants to re-elevate under TNA in 2024. But I still think a new face deserves that spotlight. And also, Jordan Grace shows Shaw, crazy face show before 101 for the title. Main event on television, might I add. And I just think it would be very fitting that Jordan Grace spotlight gets cut out from underneath her feet and Michelle Shaw finally ascends to the throne that me and Dattula believes that she deserves. So I believe that Michelle Shaw will be the new Knockouts World Champion come the end of the night, but I do think Jordan Grace ends Trinity's spotlight. That being said, Chris, do you have any further thoughts regarding Trinity losing or keeping the title, or do you think this is Trinity's last moment to glow?
Well, sorry if I was taking long. I'm getting my bed down.
Very good.
So sorry if I took long.
No, you're good.
Um, this match is gonna be good. Um, as far as the winner goes, I have what I said earlier about Jordan Grace winning this. I am sticking to that. I think Jordan Grace winning tomorrow night, putting an end to Trinity's glow before Trinity comes back to WWE as Naomi, possibly in the Royal Rumble match. I could see that happening, and personally, it would be good for her to come back to WWE and to see what she does. I know you guys brought up about like Giselle Shaw becoming champion at the end of the night. I don't see that happening. You also have to counter in a newcomer. What about Camilla? Is that how you pronounce her name?
No,
Camille.
Camille.
Yeah, Camille.
Camilla's the chicken girlfriend of Gonzo.
I think Camille can make a big splash in this. But overall, Jordan Grace becomes the new champion tomorrow night.
I didn't even think about Camille now that you say that. And Camille, again, 800 plus days, reigning NWA World Women's Champion. And as of right now, she's a free agent. So, I mean, that is also another thing to think about. Didn't even think about that. So, that's a good point. NWA. No, 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 no. Yeah, you don't think that. No. Okay, my wheels are spinning. If they sign Camille to the Knockouts division and she's the next challenger of the title, game over.
No,
All right.
WWE is rumored, Sean, to be very high on Camille and looking to bring her to my NXT. No official press releases have been issued as of yet, but it's very much like Julia. It's being very high touted that WWE are looking to nab her. So I don't see her showing up here.
Yeah. And
It's
again,
still possible.
right.
Anything is possible until ink gets put to paper.
Exactly. What do I
But
say?
I still like
Again, seeing is believing. Tina Brooke, that poor woman. And
Eva
also, again,
Marie.
how dare you? And again, Julia is defending the NW Strong Women's Championship against NW Academy, Ring of Honor star, Trish Adora, the same night, tomorrow night, in California, at Battle in the Valley. So I don't know how quick a jet goes between Las Vegas and that venue in California. I'm just
About
saying.
45 minutes.
Yeah, I wouldn't push that. So
I mean, it just depends on where on the card it is.
that's true. We don't know the
But Battle of the Valley is also starting later. Battle of the Valley starts at 7 o'clock Pacific time. So if the knockouts match, theoretically speaking, was at 6 or 6:30, and they put on a 20 or 30-minute classic, so now it's 7 o'clock.
Right.
20-minute drive to the airport, 45-minute flight. Could be semi-main event for Battle of the Valley. It's possible.
It's actually a little further in the card, so it, it it is very possible. And again, Sean, Battle of the Belts 9 is tomorrow night as well, the same time during TNA Hard to Kill. We'll be coming TNA Hard to Kill, AEW Collision, and AEW Battle of the Belts 9 all across the Jet Vision Network, Multiverse Media live watchable event specials. You will get 2 simulcasts to enjoy what you wish as we try and give more back to you, the multiverse of media. But that
Yeah,
being said,
originally it was just going to be Battle of the Belts, but when
yeah,
nice guy Tony Khan decided that he wanted to put Deonna Purrazzo's AEW debut on the same night as the company that she was the face of their women's division's first pay-per-view under the rebranded TNA, we decided that we had to cover it because Deonna Purrazzo's in-ring debut is that important.
damn.
But good on you, Tony Khan, for putting Deonna Purrazzo's debut on the same night as Hard to Kill. You rat bastard. You couldn't have saved that for freaking Dynamite next week.
It is what it is in this industry, dadgummit. People make me sick, but I digress. Anyway,
But,
well,
but WWE was so evil when they put CM Punk, Cody Rhodes,
Oh,
Jade Cargill, and Brian Pillman Jr. on NXT against the Tuesday Night War. They were bad, evil people, weren't they, TK?
ladies and gentlemen, my name is not Smart Mark Sterling or Joseph Park, but now I'm just a simple man, and I'm just going to leave you all with this simple message. Don't be a Twitter twat. Okay, that being said, let's go ahead. We've had a lot of fun, a lot of discussion. We gave a public service announcement, but let's go ahead and get to what I believe is going to be the main event because it's the fucking TNA World Championship. And we got to see right now if not the wrestling god, not the 5-tool athlete, just simply put, he just calls himself Moose, JJ. We're going to see if Moose can finally take the keys towards the foundation laid out and built and being ran by the guy that's been going at this in his own way for 20 plus years, Alex Shelley. It's Alex Shelley versus Moose for the TNA World Championship. Of course, Moose earned this opportunity after getting the Feast or Fire briefcase for the World Championship match at Impact 1000. And Alex Shelley shot the world, beating Steve Macklin at Against All Odds last year in Columbus, Ohio, beating Steve Macklin for the title. And since then, he's essentially defended against all the naysayers, including who he believed in his own mind made him think he was transitional. We are talking about the national treasure, Nick Aldis. We are talking about the walking weapon, Josh Alexander. Technically proficient excellence in Jonathan Gresham. Anybody that has stepped up towards Alex Shelley's put down, including the president now of New Japan Pro Wrestling, Hiroshi Tanahashi. Why Moose, of course, he's no stranger to capitalizing on opportunity, as of course he cashed in his shot on Josh Alexander after he won it back from Christian Cage, held on to the championship following that night at Battleground 2021 through Rebellion 2022. But this is the TNA World Championship, and Moose bought the already deceased title back because he believed back then the company had no direction. They needed a leader. And why Shelley has stutter stepped his way back into this company and is at the top. Moose has been a mainstay here, folks, now for 7 straight years. He believes this is the best, hardest working locker room he's ever been a part of. And he believes that he needs to be the one to represent TNA. Why Alex Shelley believes he's the one representing what it is becoming, and he's the reason TNA is back. He is currently the 3rd longest reigning TNA World Champion in this company's history, just behind, you guessed it, Josh Alexander and the It Factor, Bobby Roode. Well, this is it, boys and girls. This is our main event. One of these two leads the new era as the TNA World Champion. And in my opinion, Moose looks like he's willing to do anything to get it. So, Chris, who do you have leaving? Because you did give some subtle teases towards what you think's to come. Who do you think leads the new era of TNA? as the TNA World Champion?
Well, we have to all remember that Moose was the World Championship during the pandemic. We have to remember that. But hey, let's not talk about 2020 because that was the worst year of everybody's lives.
Oh, good God Almighty! You ain't kidding. Continue.
As far as this match goes, it's going to be who wants it more. Does Alex Shelley overcome the odds and defeat Moose, or is Moose going to abbreviate Alex Shelley into like the next century? What I said earlier about pulling the trigger with Alex Shelley and Chris Sabin, I feel that is what needs to happen. I personally believe Alex Shelley is going to retain tomorrow night. And my mind has started to wonder. We all talked about Wars Collide.
Yes.
About this whole entire, okay, who's the mystery person? Who's going to be this major signing? Is there going to be a major signing? I remember the last time Alex Shelley had a match and won, we saw the returning Josh Alexander, and he challenged Alex Shelley for that, for the TNA World Championship. What if they don't do the big thing until the end of the show? My mind is starting to wonder. What I said earlier about AJ Styles.
Yes.
What if maybe for one night only we see a dream match, maybe at Sacrifice? No, I botched that, so you could put the thing up.
Very crowbar graphics.
We have No Surrender on February 23rd. Then we have Sacrifice on March 8th.
Yes, and I imagine Rebellion would have to follow afterwards, and that's the next actual pay-per-view in the TNA cycle.
What if for one night only, after one of those events, we get Wars Collide when TNA's Alex Shelley versus WWE's AJ Styles for the TNA World Championship?
Ooh.
And that will be the closing moments where it all has to do with Wars Collide. You have a dream match for the TNA World Championship. Alex Shelley, AJ Styles.
So you're holding out for a phenomenal encounter post WrestleMania. AJ Styles and Alex Shelley, the first ever champion of the original TNA era, versus the freaking first champion of the new era, and who truly is TNA overall.
Yes.
Damn. That's a stretch. I didn't think you were going to go that far. I thought he was setting up Chris Sabin versus Alex Shelley at some point, because I've been saying that up since last year, and I already have Chris Sabin losing the X Division Championship, and I do think no matter how close these two are as brothers, if you're not out here to be number one, what are you doing in this business? JJ, take it away, man. Your thoughts maybe on that, and who do you have leaving as the TNA World Champion? What's the future of the new era TNA? Who leads it?
Well, to Chris's thought process, it wouldn't be a dream match because AJ and Shelley have fought before in TNA.
Mm-hmm.
They've met on 8 different occasions. One of them one-on-one, but still, they've been involved in matches together 8 different times. It's been a while since they've met, but still.
To Genesis.
As far as who's going to take this, I do feel Shelley's going to retain. I don't know what it is about Moose, but there's something about him that doesn't captivate me, doesn't reel me in. So I don't know if I would want him to be my world champion. And again, I know we talk about the future more than the past, but Alex Shelley is an original. You know, he's been around the block as far as TNA goes. So I could see them keeping the belt on the original as opposed to putting it on the guy that came up through the Impact era. And then start building towards whoever is going to take the title off of Shelley. I wouldn't want it to be Saban because I don't feel like their feud needs the title.
Agree.
Definitely agree with Chris as far as Saban costing Shelley the title at some point so that they can feud, but it's not going to happen here. We need to build to it. I feel like that's a Slammiversary or a Bound for Glory type of thing, you know, not a first pay-per-view of the year type of thing. We got to slow burn that.
Right. Yes, Chris.
Well, I just had this also in mind. And I'm going to get back to the AJ Styles, Alex Shelley thing. If that were to happen, this is the thing. We saw Mickey James holding the Knockouts Championship at the Royal Rumble in 2022. I have a gut feeling we saw like the Knockouts Championship in WWE. We could have the TNA World Championship in WWE and put AJ Styles as the champion. That would be like a forbidden door moment right there. AJ Styles, if they need him to work Fridays, he could work Fridays. If he wants to work Thursdays, you give AJ that time. If you put the title on AJ Styles, you could have him come with the TNA World Championship to WWE to give exposure to TNA and have everybody look into the product, into the company, and say, hey, TNA is back. Look into it, watch it, and get knowledge about it.
I understand where you're coming from when it comes to cross promotion. I can understand that. And it would be the first time WWE did interpromotional stuff, but yes, JJ. You're right, bro.
That wouldn't be a bad idea. I mean,
No, not at all.
it would essentially be what AEW did with having Christian and then Kenny Omega as the champion for Impact.
Mm-hmm.
You know, that I could see, and having AJ make his return at Hard to Kill, have him challenge for the title at No Surrender, have him defend it at Sacrifice, have him defend it and possibly lose it at WrestleMania. Now you've just put the TNA World Championship on the biggest scale that there could be.
Oh my lord.
And to Chris's point, most of TNA's Impact shows are filmed in advance, generally on Saturdays, Sundays. So, okay, AJ misses 1 or 2 days of house shows to film 3 or 4 weeks of television. He's still available to be on SmackDown. And then you have him on Impact on Thursday and SmackDown on Friday.
TNA World Championship in WWE. But my mind can't.
I mean, again, it's far-fetched, but it's not as impossible as it was 2 years ago when Vinnie Mac was running things.
I know, it's just such a wild ass concept to wrap my mind around.
I know it, bro, but Chris makes a valid point here.
He does.
Thank you, JJ. You're
I never thought I would agree
person.
with the scenario coming from Chris, but god damn it, he makes a point here.
Timestamp 2 hours. JJ just agreed with Chris. What the hell's happening here? It is a new year. Yes, it is. The world's gone mad. Pigs are gonna fly. Oh my god.
The better question, Noah, instead of asking why would this happen, ask yourself why couldn't this happen in the modern day wrestling landscape the way it is?
I got less answers for that now, to your point, because I've been praising the idea of collaboration versus competition, especially within yourself. You know, friggin' put down your borders. People on my Twitter, on the Twitter that I'm friends with, and the friggin' TNA group I'm part of, shout out to TNA IW, they talk about, well, this person crossed the line. WWE would cross the line.
That's an old TNA slogan.
Exactly. And WWE would literally cross the line. Hey, that could be the name of PLE, crossing lines. Imagine that hot shit. Freaking WWE crossing the line to TNA in 2024 does not seem as far-fetched of a sentence as I just said it. But I will say this. I do think this new era of TNA needs one last phenomenal moment. Pun intended. And the only way you're going to get that is you get AJ Styles on that damn platform, one way or another. So if that's what
not as
leads
forbidden of a concept.
Yeah, right. Well, open up the freaking key and unlock the Da Vinci Code and say the mantra that makes it happen. Because if there's one thing I need to see happen in 2024, I need to hear "Get Ready to Fly," and I need to see the phenomenal AJ Styles in TNA.
And even better, since he's walking that line right now in WWE, have the Good Brothers help him win the title.
Or
there's another TNA crossover because of the Good Brothers and their tag title runs there.
And also, you forgot
and Mia Yim, part of the OC,
former Knockouts World Champion.
It's the circle of life.
God, not copyright. But also to that point, Impact, they're always on point. Duh. They put out the playlist of the Lone Wolf AJ Styles, the guy that went from TNA to wrestle the likes of Sonata in Wrestle 1, to wrestle Shinsuke Nakamura, New Japan Pro Wrestling, to take over Bullet Club.
And when did they drop that playlist, Noah? Like the day after he made his return?
Yes.
Interesting timing, wouldn't you think?
Well, I mean, to be fair, this is what Impact does.
They just happened to have that playlist all queued and ready to go.
Yep.
Almost like they knew about it in advance.
Something
considering they're all under the same Endeavor umbrella.
Something tells me there might be a longer story underlined here than the friggin' bloodline when it comes to AJ returning to TNA. I'm just saying. But bottom line, though, I do agree with both of you. I do think Alex Shelley is going to retain because there's just something about Moose. He's dedicated to this company. He wants to retire here, but I don't know. There's something about him I think that's just missing to put him out there long term as the champion. of TNA wrestling. I don't know what it is exactly, but there's just something he has yet to find or crack. When he held the freaking, the bunk original white strap, silver letter, big gold TNA Heavyweight Championship and called himself the champion, he had no value towards it. And while he's garnered value in the Impact faithful, I don't know if he's garnered enough of a respect to garner the TNA World Championship like Alex Shelley has. And that's why I think Alex Shelley's going to retain. But I also do think of inevitably that Alex Shelley and Chris Sabin are going to have a one-on-one. And if I know Alex Shelley's ego, it would not surprise me if he does it against Chris Sabin. Now that he's in this spot, much longer than a cup of coffee than Chris Sabin's only run was. Y'all remember that era, unfortunately. So the whole aspect of a phenomenal return, moment, setup, partnership disclosed, put aside, I do think Alex Shelley will lead the new era of TNA, still the champion, coming out of tomorrow night. Either way, all these thoughts, all these ideas, all these predictions, none of them are impossible to think upon. But one thing's for damn sure, this video proved that TNA, you truly are, even in conversation, hard to kill. But that's it, folks. We're officially Chris. What?
Damn it.
I just okay.
Uh-oh. He had an idea.
No, I have an idea now.
Oh, fuck.
I just went on the WWE's app for the events for tomorrow, Saturday, January 13th. They're at Little Caesars thing. I was looking at it, and AJ Styles is not booked for the show. So that technically means it could be AJ Styles tomorrow night.
Or they haven't fully booked the show yet, and he can still show up because every house show always has the same main people advertised and one or two people rotate out. You're talking to a guy that used to do the My NXT house show tours in Ohio State, 3 shows in a single damn week, and the only difference was one damn match besides the venue. I'm just saying. Although this right here, if I could hear that theme, that'd be fucking awesome too, and the strobing effect. I'm just saying. And Sting is on his farewell. I mean, as far as his wrestling career goes, and the Icon was a major part of TNA. So that's another name we didn't think about. That's King Mike's dream, apparently. So again, I don't know what's harder to believe. But I do think one thing's for sure. We are in for something very special in the start, the genesis. It's not even genesis, but the rebirth of TNA. And regardless what we can think and how we're going to feel, I'm pretty sure that the post-show excitement's going to be hard to kill. And I think that being said, that's a good way to close this thing out before we go into another subject or someone actually super chats us. But so again, folks, stay tuned. The forum will be shortly across the social medias and in the comments down below. Get your predictions in. Thank you for those that tuned in to the first edition of 2024. It's been a hell of a ride, hell of a show. About the mark that I expected. And guys, great in-depth conversation, analysis, predictions. And I'm even more excited now to cover this. So thank you all for joining me and thank everybody for tuning in. So before we go and bid everybody a fine adieu, Chris, always a pleasure. Good luck. The star of our Horseman League, of course. Shout out to Mark Griffith and, of course, Jeff Chadwick. And, of course, good luck in the start of the TNA League. Here's your plug. Go ahead. Somebody can find you. Then bid yourself a fine idea. Get some rest, bro. Been a pleasure.
Well, thank you for allowing me to come on tonight. I had a phenomenal time.
All right, let's not bury that word worse than stupendous at WrestleMania 38. You're going to get me triggered.
Okay. I had a great time here tonight. Where you guys can all find me at is on my X account. Uppercase C lowercase ROTZ 24. My Insta is CMROTZ_6472. My Facebook is Christopher Ross. You can find me on those 3 social media accounts for all things wrestling. And I can give you guys my other social media accounts over time.
Yeah.
I had a great time here tonight. What a way to start 2024 with a bang. The next time you'll be getting us on a Simply Predicting panel for a TNA event is going to be No Surrender. On that event is February 23rd. But we're not done with this month just yet, because we got less than 2 weeks from tomorrow, and we got WWE's Royal Rumble Premium Live event, where we kickstart the road to WrestleMania, where we get 30 men, 30 women. The winners will punch their ticket to the main event of WrestleMania. So if you want to be on that panel for the Royal Rumble, hit Noah up and we'll be happy to get you on in 2 weeks' time. Date and time will be according to plan. So I had a good time tonight. Let's enjoy Hard to Kill. And let's just enjoy 2024 and just be positive this whole entire year.
Damn right. Appreciate you, brother. Enjoy SmackDown. Enjoy your night. Get some rest. And good luck tomorrow night. TNA Hard to Kill. Always appreciate you. JJ, again, man, you and I, the work never ends. But hey, we always chill. We always do our thing. We're always passionate about this business. So besides the social medias here, simply put, where can people connect with you? It's always a pleasure doing this stuff with you too.
It's always a pleasure being here. You can find me on Instagram, the Renegade JJ Williams, on Twitter, ROWJJ Williams, on YouTube, Casa D18 Studios. Thank you to everyone that's watching. Make sure you sign up for the members only section of the Casa D18 Studios channel, where we put exclusive content that you can't find on the main channel, like me and Noah calling the Flair Steamboat Trilogy, which we uploaded for Christmas. We're already talking about doing Punk Joe, the Ring of Honor trilogy for this year's Christmas. We've also got the Road to WrestleMania
God help us.
that we need to get back in the driver's seat and resume our road trip on that. You know, doing WrestleMania 13 all the way through 39. We still got time to get it all done. It's just going to take a little bit of extra grunt work at this point, but we can definitely get there. Make sure you tune in tomorrow for the Hard to Kill coverage. Make sure you tune in tomorrow for the Collision Battle of the Belts coverage. First time we're doing simultaneous watch-alongs. Noah and Jeff will be on the call for Hard to Kill. Me, James, and Walter are supposed to be on the call for Collision and Battle of the Belts. And then all that leads up to the 2-year anniversary of Open Mic Night, where this man right here, the simple man with the spectacular voice, will be in the hot seat. He will be in the host seat, and he will lead the Saturday night shenanigans.
Oh boy. Oh man, my Saturday night's gonna be long. All right. Okay, well, JJ, always a pleasure. Again, folks, always a pleasure. I hope that you enjoy the first of the first of May of 2024 Professional Wrestling Sports Entertainment. It's going to put us even more busy than last year. We did like 43 events. I guarantee you they're going to beat that score. Thank you again for tuning in. If you want to know more about me, know this. Why do I endure these various shenanigans across all these different platforms of YouTube, social media, and sports entertainment? Because I am nothing more but a simple man and a lifelong fan of professional wrestling. Damn it! But I digress. So follow me if you choose on the Twitter and on YouTube and in Foster1916 for all things wrestling. Shout out, of course, to my entire ACW family on the Twitter. And shout out to my friend Mary J. Continues to prove that James worth more than gold. Take care, my friend. Get back in the game. Check out her latest work, folks. You can follow her on Spinebuster TV. Some of her matches there in tag and singles action, along the likes of Millie McKenzie, taking on the likes of Laura Dematio, so many others too across the UK independent scene. Follow her again at AmeriJade on the social medias. Review Impromptu has been taking a hiatus. We'll be back again very soon, probably during Royal Rumble week for another episode. Just bringing you into 2024. What the fuck's been going on with this industry and what we think still to come too. So stay tuned for more on that. As far as prediction leagues, prediction forums, prediction updates, and hashtags to the predicting. You know what you need to do. Follow me primarily on the Twitter. It's where you'll find all the forums and where you'll find regular updates, hashtags to the predicting on my Twitter at nfoster1916. And of course, some YouTube channels where you'll also find the forums and updates there as well as giving your own simple assessment on all the biggest shows in and out of sports entertainment and professional wrestling. And as Chris alluded to, the City Predicting, we've only just begun. Buckle up, folks, because we're back for all the leagues, damn it. Next time we City Predict TNA will be No Surrender. The WWE League kicks off with the Road to WrestleMania, starting off with the Royal Rumble. And of course, NXT will be back as well, starting off with Vengeance Day as AEW League. So far, don't friggin' change it, you madman. We'll start off with Revolution, and Ring of Honor is yet to be announced by a match that will start with Super Card of Honor. As these City Predictings are canned, but times are starting to change, it is official. The Royal Rumble City Predicting panel will be Friday, January 26th, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And it's the Royal Rumble, so who the hell knows how many or who's going to be on that panel that night. But yes, City Predicting for the Royal Rumble is official. It'll be January 26th at 5 p.m. Pacific, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So stay tuned for that and the start of the WWE League. Again, happy birthday, Dattila. Hope you enjoyed your day as you powered down towards the end of your day. And enjoy Snake Eyes and TNA Hard to Kill in the rebirth of TNA. Please follow her, folks, at Dattila, at Rangers of Wrestling on YouTube. And follow her when it's wrestling time, of course, when she covers Raw, Dynamite, SmackDown, and Collision. As JJ alluded to, he loves wrestling. For the love of wrestling, if you are a fan, please check out his review content the day after each show concludes at Casa D18 Studios. And as always, that's going to give it to you. So
Yes,
that being said.
And next week, Noah,
what
will be my first Impact review.
Oh, I may have to be either part of that or actually tune into that one. This is going to be very, very interesting because, yeah.
At least until No Surrender, there will be 5 days a week.
All right. Well, hey, wait into the grind. And yeah, we need to get the car out.
And Dattila has been reviewing NXT too. She's agreed to review NXT until Vengeance Day, as long as I review Impact through No Surrender. So,
well, we'll see if we get you to believe in TNA sooner than you believe in Joe Hendry, but I digress. And as always, folks, that's just some of the madness of the passion and the content and the creative outlets that we do in and out of YouTube as well. But as always, the mantra stays the same. The principle still stays the same. The moral stays the same too. For we are all just fans with opinions for this passion we all share. So at the end of the day, folks, support one another, respect each other, protect your mentality too, treasure your families, and just enjoy life and enjoy professional wrestling. It is truly as simple as that. With that being said, thank you so much for ushering in with us the rebirth of TNA and the start of 2024's Simply Predicting. Please subscribe, comment, tell a friend. Hit the bell. This video goes live on demand on either of these YouTube channels. Become a member today. Give this man a super chat, a super sticker. And apparently, I guess goal is to get me monetized. So if you want to help me along the way with that, we'll see what happens. Maybe I'll even start reviewing content on a weekly basis if that happens. I guess I'll set milestones. Why not?
Yeah,
I'm up for the challenge. Let's see what 2024 brings. But
that's
I know
the way you do it. If you watch Noah's channel and you enjoy Noah's channel, spread the word about Noah's channel. If you are in wrestling groups on Facebook, tell them when he goes live and does his Simply Predictings. Let them know when he goes live and does his ATW views. Let them know when he does his simple takes and when watch-alongs go across. We need to get eyes on the product and help this man get the view hours he needs so that by the end of 2024, he can begin to make some money off of his passion.
I never thought I'd hear that sentence said towards me, but I appreciate that. I guess we'll see if that is enough on inspiring. But at the end of the day, as long as I'm encouraging people to just do life, enjoy wrestling, I got my payoff enough. It's not about me, it's about wrestling, but I appreciate the sentiment. But until next time, folks, we're gonna get some rest. Some people are gonna enjoy SmackDown. Some people got other stuff to do. We're gonna bid you now a fine adieu as TNA's rebirth is upon us tomorrow night. So until then, with the simulcast watch-alongs of Collision and Battle for Glory with the Virtuosos debut in AEW and so much more. And TNA Hard to Kill. Thank you for tuning in to TNA Hard to Kill City Predicting, and we'll see you tomorrow night here on the Jeopardy Network Multiverse Media. So until then, make a positive impact on live, give TNA a chance, and have a good night. And thank you for tuning in to the first 2024 Simply Predicting. Have a good night, folks.